if you're going through divorce, then probably you're thinking about how to stop it. Probably you have spoken to some lawyers, asked them about the laws which can stop a woman from divorcing her husband. Probably you have spoken to your friends and relatives asking for advice. And probably many of these things are not working. If you are in this place, you are in this situation, then I want you to watch this video till the end. In this video, I'm going to talk about these 5 important elements about how do you stop a divorce. The first element that I'm going to talk about is you got to reduce primal panic. The second thing is understand how did she decide to go for a divorce. The third thing I'm going to focus on is the experiences. The fourth one is how do you become the person that she can't resist falling in love with. And the fifth one is how do you go beyond the divorce even if that happens. So continue to watch this video and focus on every element that I'm going to speak about. Hi, my name is Valerian Sequera, and I teach relationship science to help people to move from power struggle to mature love. I truly believe that there is nothing wrong with your marriage, no matter your marriage has reached a place of divorce. I believe that what has happened in your marriage is it's just a phase. You have come to a place or the phase or the stage in your marriage is called a power struggle. Every marriage begins with romance stage. And after some time, romance stage is supposed to wear out. And when the romance stage wears out, we come to a stage called power struggle. And because there is no school or college in the world that teaches us how do you get out of the power struggle, we get stuck over there. And when we get stuck over there and we keep going round and round, it ultimately leads to divorce. So before I jump into this session, before I jump into this video, here is a quick disclaimer. This video and all my videos are to help someone to move from power struggle to mature love. And the only way you can move from power struggle to mature love is when you take leadership, when you take initiative. And the only way you can take initiative is to introspect and ask yourself, how can I change myself to change the other person? So if you are somebody who is saying to himself that why should I only change? Why are these videos only for men? Why are you not talking about the wife? If you are somebody like that, then this is not the place for you. I can't help you. And probably nobody can, because the only way to change your wife is to change yourself first. So if you're that kind of a person, don't watch this video. But if you are somebody who really wants to understand relationship science, who really wants to have a great marriage, then continue to watch this video. So with that, let us jump in and let's speak about the first thing. That is, if you want to stop a divorce, you got to reduce primal panic. So what is primal panic? All of us are have a great need to be connected with another human being. So when we are children, we want to be connected with our parents. And as we grow up and we get married, we want to be connected with our spouse. And as soon as a disconnection happens through a fight, through an argument, or through something that the other person does or says, we feel a sense of panic within us. And at those moments, our brain stops thinking. And all that we do is we basically fight, argue, disconnect, not talk, uh, go into a silent zone. We do any of these behaviors. So right now, because you're going through a divorce process, your mind will be filled with panic. And when we are in panic, these are the three things we do. So the first thing that we do when we are in panic is begging. So don't beg your wife, because I'll tell you why these three things don't work. But this is the first thing, that is begging. The second thing is asking for forgiveness, saying to your wife that I'm going to change, everything will be all right. Please withdraw those cases. Let's have a great marriage. That's asking for forgiveness. And the third one, and the most common one, is trying to convince. You could try to convince your wife through your parents, somebody who is elder. And if you're going through a mediation, try to convince your wife through a lawyer, through a counselor, through a mediator. and more you try to counsel, try to convince, what is your spouse feeling? What your spouse feeling is what you see in this picture. In this picture, you're seeing a man is trying to pull his wife towards his side, using logic, using the reasons why she should understand him, and every one of these behaviors, like begging, asking for forgiveness to get her back. Asking for forgiveness is a wonderful thing, but asking for forgiveness with a reason to get her back, or trying to convince, makes your wife feel that you don't understand her. You don't understand what she is going through. You don't understand the reason why she's going for a divorce, and you are trying to change her. And when somebody feels that you are exerting control on them, they try to exert control on you. When you try to change them, they try to change you. They try to bring you to their side. So, more you resist, more she will persist. So this is what happens in your marriage. So it basically means that it makes your wife to get more and more into this victim mindset. So what you need to do is you got to reduce your primal panic. You got to uh, start feeling calm again. And if you're not feeling calm, you will do some of the most horrible mistakes that you can do, like hiring a lawyer to file cases against her, probably spending lakhs of rupees in the court to fight against your own wife and a child. And I'm saying this from the experience of the men in our community who have done these things. And today they realize that that's the worst thing you can do. So if you are somebody at this place, please do not make these mistakes. So, how do you reduce panic? The primal panic. The way to reduce primal panic is to get into a positive zone. How do you get into a positive zone? It could be the simple things you do, like exercising every day, spending time in prayer or meditation, spending time in writing down the things that you're grateful for, just focusing on eating on the right time, sleeping at the right time, focusing on what you need to do. Now, that's the way you reduce your primal panic. And we have a whole process inside the program for those of you who go through the program. Now, the second thing of this journey is, once you reduce panic, now you will be in a position to think straight and make these decisions. And once you reduce panic, this is the second thing, and that is, understand, how did she come to this conclusion of giving you divorce, of going for divorce? Because when your wife got married to you, she did not get married to you with the intention that, okay, I'm going to get married to this person, and after 3 years, after 5 years, and many of your cases, it is after 10 years, after having a child, I'll go for a divorce. She did not get into the marriage with the plan. And when she got married, her decision was to be with you for the rest of her life. Then how did she reach this decision? You might tell me, no, the way she reached this decision is because her parents are interfering. Her friends told her. There was an affair she got into, and because of that, she's deciding this. Now, this is absolutely not true. Your friends might tell you that it is true, your relatives might tell you that it's true, but it's not true. How do I know that? I know that from the experience of so many men who have gone through the coaching and understanding exactly that it's not true. So then how did she decide? How she decided was this way. When she got married, how did she decide? Decided that she wants to get married to you. And let's start from there. And then we'll talk about how did she decide to go for a divorce. The way she decided to get married to you is experience. She had a wonderful experience with you. And later on, I'm going to talk about what that experience contained that made her to get married to you. So when she had that experience, this experience led to these positive emotions. And these emotions led to a decision to get married to you. Now, when you got married, after a few weeks or months of the marriage, what happens to us is we just take marriage for granted. We take the other person for granted. And when that happens, we get into a power struggle stage, and it's a natural process. And when you got into power struggle stage, again, she started having the experiences in our marriage. I'm looking at it from her perspective. It's not that you didn't have it, but for you to turn things around, you got to look at the situation from her perspective. So when you got married, she started having experiences that were not pleasant, that made her feel unloved. And at those moments, she tried to tell you in a way that was not palatable. So she started criticizing you. And when she started criticizing you, because there is nobody who has taught us relationship science, you took it literally and you started arguing with her that it's not true. And it's something like this. When I say literally, your wife said, you never spend time with me. We never go for a walk. Earlier, we used to go for a walk. And you said, because I'm busy in the office. But she was not talking about the walk. What she was talking about is that I don't matter to you. And because you started having fights and arguments, your wife started feeling that you don't love her. And when a woman starts feeling that way, she probably put up with all that for some time because of the family, because of the society. But these experiences continue to happen. And they happen even more because even you felt loved, unloved. And then she finally made a decision. Now, you can't change that decision by trying to convince, beg, or asking for forgiveness. The only way you can change that decision is by changing the experience. She got married to you because of the experience. She decided to go for a divorce because of the experience. The only reason why she would come back is because of the experiences. Now, that brings us to the next point, that is focusing on experiences. Now, what kind of experiences will make your wife come back? There are, in order for you to understand what kind of experiences will make your wife come back, you got to understand the five things that make someone, a human being, even for that matter, even a animal, feel loved. What are those five things? Every time someone feels that, let's say, every time your wife feels, my wife feels, let's use that example. Every time my wife feels that she matters to me, I'm there for her, and I think that she's good, right, and wonderful human being, she feels loved. And every time she feels loved, she also starts making me feel the same way because there are mirror neurons that are at play. So you got to focus on the experience, whether you are meeting your wife in the police station or in the court, whether you are meeting her at the mediator's place or any of these places. You got to make your wife feel that she matters to you. You are there for her. She's good, right, and wonderful human being. The only way you can do that is once again by going to your wife's side and understanding her situation, going to her side and understanding our situation. So this is the most important part. And more she feels the same thing that I spoke about earlier, experiences leading to emotions, leading to a decision will happen. So focusing on experiences. We have men in our community where they are already divorced. And they say that they are divorced on paper because at heart they're coming closer. The love is coming back, the understanding coming back, they're spending time with each other. That's the power of creating experiences. And if you want to be part of this community, then I invite you to attend a masterclass of mine. Just go to this link, that is coachval.co, and sign up for this masterclass and attend it. Now let's go to the next part, that is becoming. So if you look deep down, you will notice that the reason why, fundamentally, why your wife is leaving you is for the person you have become. And why did you become this person, most unloving, uncaring person? Is because as a reaction to her action. It's a loop. It's a loop during the power struggle. So when I'm talking about becoming the person she can't resist falling in love with, how do you do that? How do you become that person that she can't resist falling in love with? It's not about sending a bouquet to a house. It's not about, that's a good thing, but it's not about that. It's not about giving a most expensive gift. It is about, if you want to make her fall in love with you, the first step is that you have to fall in love with her. Now, the only way you can fall in love with her at this moment, at this intense power struggle stage, is by understanding the situation from her perspective. Why did my wife apply for divorce? Why did she criticize me? Why did she criticize my parents? I got to look at it, and why she's allowing her parents to interfere. I got to look at it from her perspective. And when I look at it from her perspective, I develop an immense amount of love for the other person, immense amount of empathy for the other person, immense amount of gratitude for the other person for giving so much of effort, putting so much of effort into the relationship. So, this is the next step, that is becoming. And the next step of this journey, and the final step, is to look beyond your divorce, go beyond divorce. And how do you do that? And what do I mean by go beyond divorce? It is to understand that divorce doesn't end your marriage. Divorce doesn't end your marriage. Just because you have signed a piece of paper, everything is over between you. It's not true. So in order to help you understand this, I want you to think about your wedding. And the question that I want to ask is, did your marriage begin with the wedding? And the answer is no. It didn't begin with the wedding. Your marriage began, and marriage is the word marriage is merging, merging of two hearts, connection of two hearts. So this merging happened. If it is a love marriage or arranged marriage, and you had a lot of interaction with you, this merging of the hearts, the connection of the hearts happened even before you had a wedding. Wedding was just a formality to tell the world that our hearts have come together. And if you had an arranged marriage, you hardly had any interaction. Probably the merging of the hearts happened after the wedding. So the wedding is just a formality. And it's the same with divorce. The divorce, signing of the papers, is just a formality. In most cases, 99.99999% of the cases, the divorce of the hearts has happened much before, does happen much before the divorce of the papers, on the papers. So what do you need to do? You got to look beyond the divorce. Divorce just doesn't mean that your marriage is over. It just means that on paper it is over. I was talking to a lawyer, uh, friend of mine, and I was asking him this simple question. Let's say let's say a couple gets divorced. How easy it is for them to get married again? He says it's as simple as, at this table, they get a divorce, they sign the divorce papers. On the next table, they can go and sign for the marriage again, get married again. So, what are you trying to do? Why are if you're thinking about stopping the divorce, why are you trying to stop the divorce? What you need to think about is, how can I get married to this person again? How can I look at this person as my girlfriend who is hurt with me, angry with me, upset with me, and I want her to come around. I want her to fall in love. And when we fall in love, we're going to get married again. And that is what is happening to many of our men, where the love is coming back in spite of going through a divorce. So that's all for this video. And if you have not subscribed to this channel, please go ahead, subscribe to this channel, click on that like button, and reflect on what I've shared. And once you reflect, go to the chat box and write down one of the biggest learnings that you had, one aha moment, one insight that you had. Because even a single insight has the power to bring back love into your relationship. And if you are somebody who knows a person in your life who is going through the exact situation right now, and is finding ways to stop this divorce, then please share this video with them. So that's all for this video, gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching it, and I'll see you in the next video. And until then, keep your love story alive. Bye bye.